We're seeing that today. Both teams coming out very focused in warm-ups, ready to go.
Adam Hunt here alongside Theo Wan. We're going to take you through the action as first pull, or opening pull rather, is just moments away as we await, as Theo mentioned, a anticipated interdivisional game. And finally, took us 4 home games for the Toronto Rush, but it looks as though the weather will not be playing a factor today. Wind plagued the back-to-back games between the Breeze and the Glory at this very stadium, and their home opener against the Montreal Royale featured a lengthy break in the action due to lightning and thunder in the area, and it looks as though they've subsided, and just in time as well, because we'll take a look at the graphic right here. Playoff hopes very much alive for the Toronto Rush, sitting 4th outside looking in right now in the Eastern Division. And the Pittsburgh Thunderbirds don't quite make the graphic, Theo, but mathematically still right in the middle of things as we see the Central Division wide open.
Currently 1-4 on the year, but with the win today against Toronto and Chicago tomorrow at 2 p.m., they'd be right back in the swing of things. They'd actually be sitting at 3-4. So certainly this weekend is important for them. Their bus came in late, so they're continuing to warm up on the field, which is not usually what you would see. So we're going to see how Pittsburgh comes out early in this game, knowing they got to the venue a little bit later than they expected.
As we mentioned, last time out for the Toronto Rush was a loss to the Eastern Division leading Boston Glory, but to the surprise of many, it was a much closer game than anticipated.
They were tied at half, and certainly the only team to do that up until that point. And they were close in this game, bled a couple breaks at the end, but certainly had some high-flying plays here to make things happen, including Ricky Zhuang being on the receiving end of a huck there. But the fourth quarter plagued them, and that's going to be a key for them here today, is can they play a complete game, because Pittsburgh's going to be coming for them in Toronto.
Fourth quarter troubles are not exclusive to the Boston Glory game either. Against the DC Breeze just 2 days before that. We're down 3 going into the fourth and gave up back-to-back breaks. Ended up being a much wider margin than most of that game had been played at. And we'll see that this team does have fight as we see them put up a massive effort last time out against the defending champion, Boston Glory. Andre DeCrana as well, taking home player of the match. We see some of his handiwork as well. As we see now, final preparations are underway as we take a look at our player to watch for the Pittsburgh Thunderbirds, Will Hoffenkamp. As we mentioned, playoffs are still very much a possibility. It'll take a big effort from number 24 today to get a step in the right direction.
Fondly known as Hoff, Mr. Hoffenkamp is a key offensive line player for them. He actually split O&D in their last game against Carolina, but we've been told before the game started that he'll be slotting in on O here today. So he's got big throws, and you can certainly see him. Big-bodied athlete, can also be downfield and someone they can look to open up the deep space as well for Pittsburgh.
10 assists on the season for Will Hoffenkamp. Also leads in throw yards. And we'll look to orchestrate the attack against the Toronto Rush side. Matching up against him will be our player to watch from the Toronto Rush, number 18, Ryan Polaz. One of the primary handlers on the O-line, has been a staple for the Rush all season.
With no Guggen Chatha or Max Petnuzzo in the lineup, he is going to be someone that's going to have to stir the drink for this offense. Over 150 career assists. And something that's impressive about him is he does a great job of facilitating, keeps the disc moving and the offense going in the right direction. And he's going to have to take a bigger workload here today in those absences of those 2 players we just mentioned.
10 assists already on the season for Polaz. Added 6 goals as well. Not something that we always see for number 18 on the Rush. Looking at his career numbers, as you mentioned, Theo, 24 assists last season, 30 the year before that, and 33 before that as well. So no stranger to making things happen on the O-line. To that point, Theo, when looking at the Toronto Rush O-line, as you mentioned, no Max Petnuzzo, no Guggen Chatha, where can they make up for the production that is lacking, at least on the score sheet, as we see Thunderbirds lining up for the anthem as they're just a moment away?
Kelsey Milani, if he slots back into the O-line, he's been plagued a little bit, hasn't played as much as I think they would have hoped. Only played in 3 games so far. He is someone that's impressed as a rookie and someone that could really pop off here today. And of course, they still have Marty Gallant on the O-line. So certainly Pittsburgh knows that's a key person to watch, and they keyed in on that when we spoke to them before the game.
Marty Gallant, team leading 18 goals on the season, also leads with over 1,500 receiving yards, breaking his production from last season, 14 goals with the Rush, already 18, as this game will be the first of the second half of the season. 6 games down, 6 games to go, as we see the Rush take to the field now, and we await the anthems of both the United States of America and Canada.
Number 28, Nam Ho. Number 32, Kelsey Milani. Number 33, Martin Gallant. Number 34, Phil Turner. Number 35, Evan Bautista. Our athletic therapist, Dr. Melissa Belchos, and our team physician is Dr. Amir Sayad. Now, ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise as you're able and remove your hats for the playing of the national anthems of the United States of America and Canada.
There we go. How you feeling, friends? Yes, now listen. They'll have all the prizes, all games.
The anthems are out of the way. The only thing left is the coin toss and the opening pull. Pittsburgh Thunderbirds, Toronto Rush, Week 8 of the UFA season. We thank you so much for joining us once again. Adam Hunt alongside Theo Wan. Those all watching on watchufa.tv and on YouTube with CBC Sports, we thank you for joining us. Now we'll take a look at some keys to the game for the visitors.
First, you can maybe hear the crowd. They're getting amped up with the hype person for Toronto. So certainly they want to silence the crowd by getting out to a hot start. They defeated this Toronto team by 1 last season. And certainly the members of that Toronto team remember that fondly. So, or not fondly. And so they understand that they need to silence the crowd early. And number 2 is they need to take care of the disc. They're in the bottom half of the league in turnovers and the worst in their division in this stat category. They gave up 24 turnovers in their blowout loss to Carolina the last time they played. So certainly need to clean that up if they want to be successful.
As you mentioned, 21.8 turnovers per game for the visiting Pittsburgh Thunderbirds, 16th in the league. And now to the host side. Take a look at some keys for them as well.
It's sort of similar for Toronto. They need to apply some early pressure. We talked about how Pittsburgh got here a bit late, travel delays coming up from Pittsburgh here today on a bus. And so certainly providing early pressure, creating doubt in the Pittsburgh side, that will help them. And they got to fly or bus back and play Chicago tomorrow. So certainly they know this weekend is for their playoff lives. So you want to apply that early pressure. And then number 2, you want to force them to use the deep space. The Rush are 4th in the league, and they're holding their opponents to just over 50% huck percentage. And Pittsburgh only hits about 55% of their hucks on the year. They sit 4th last in the league in that category. They also have the most huck turnovers per game in the league. So push the unders, make Pittsburgh throw it deep, especially adjusting to this tricky Varsity Stadium wind.
To your point, first in huck attempts in the entire UFA are the Pittsburgh Thunderbirds. To your point, Theo, as well, the wind is here. It's not quite to the effect as we've seen in the past, and it is a bit of a change up from last time out. It will be moving from the left side of your screen to the right, whereas last time the Rush were at home against the DC Breeze and Boston Glory, it was moving from the right side of your screen to the left. So don't worry, your picture is not flipped for those of you watching on watchufa.tv and CBC Sports YouTube. Players have now taken to the field. It'll be Pittsburgh with the opening pull. White jerseys defending the end zone to the right of your screen, while Rush will counter with the red jerseys and will start moving left to right. Notably number 92, Adam Turcotte, inserted into the lineup during the last weekend of action for the Rush, and he'll actually start the game on the opening O-line possession for the Rush.
Mulaney also out there on offense, so we were interested to see who else could add some height to the squad as well. So certainly going to see how he slots back into the O-line after having played there the first couple of games. Been off the last few. So we'll see how he slots back in.
Phil Turner usually is the singular source, or at least the largest source of height on the O-line for the Rush, and we are underway here at Varsity Stadium.
Pittsburgh scouting out that split stack classic Canadian play there, taking that deep threat away.
Polaz now weighing his options. He finds Dillon. Real sense of urgency so far for the Rush, taking care of the disc. Turner was headed deep, but no path to him. It's Mulaney for Jamison. Jamison draws the double. Hits Polaz up the sideline. Polaz has a man. It's Turcotte up with the left hand, making his impact right away. Number 92, Adam Turcotte, opens the scoring for the Rush, and a clean hold.
So the double team came late there. Repperman trying to talk to his teammate, Anson Repperman, the veteran. trying to talk to his teammate to how to set the double team. And in the midst of doing so, Toronto was able to get a quick continue pass and eventually Polas finding Turcotte to the end zone. So they're going to have to adjust their communication here. Things are going to come out quite fast here. Got a young, speedy Toronto squad, and Pittsburgh's going to have to adjust to that very quickly. One adjustment they have made is a player who's been playing mostly offensive line, number 0, Reed Duncan. 22-year-old cutter from the University of Pittsburgh. He's going to be playing defense because they like what he can bring on that side of the disc. So we'll see who can step up in his stead on offense here for Pittsburgh.
Quick bobble, but it is reclaimed by Hoffenkamp and a quick turnover. Looking for Michael Dillard. The Rush have their first break chance of the game. It's Benvenista, former Pittsburgh Thunderbird in his own right. Make a name for himself with the Rush this season, has done so. And now looking to find himself on the score sheet for the first time, and he will. Connects with Isaiah Masek-Kelly. Evan Benvenista on his first point played against his old squad. Picks up the assist, finding the veteran Isaiah Masek-Kelly.
Funny enough, he does live in Buffalo, so it's actually closer for him to play for the Rush than it was to play with the Pittsburgh Thunderbirds. But he played 2 seasons there, at a breakout year with 12 goals. He played 7 games, slotted into the O-line last year, had over 1,000 receiving yards, and someone that the coaching staff brought up as a player they got a key in on as well. But he has shifted to the D-line. He's played a little bit of O at times, but adds a lot of height and a good competitive spirit for this Toronto team.
Benista's 5th assist on the year coincides with the second goal of the season for Isaiah Masek-Kelly. Just like that, less than 2 minutes into the match, the Rush find themselves up 2.
Same Pittsburgh O-line on the field with Hoffenkamp, Owen Watt, among others.
And a turnover inside of the end zone. Rush will pick it up at the 0-yard line, I guess you could call it. They have a chance now to go up 3, or at the end of the end zone, rather.
That was Michael Dillard again, so he had the drop, and then now he just had the throwaway. So a tough start for the rookie from Tufts. 6-year player, excuse me, from Tufts.
A couple of miscues already. Can they punish the Thunderbirds? They can. It's Max Ayad diving out, full extension, took some contact, and answered with a spike. It's Max Ayad putting himself on the score sheet.
Ayad brings, you talk about fiery players, Max Ayad is one of them. He kind of gets bumped, and Zaccardi is kind of apologetic, but Ayad still with the spike and bringing the energy and fire right now as they're up 3-0. That is the start you want. You talk about applying early pressure as a key. A lot of it's been kind of unforced here from Pittsburgh. So an unsportsmanlike given to Max Ayad for spiking in the direction of Pete Zaccardi. So a 20-yard penalty will be assessed as Toronto's first defensive group, the D1, is back on the field, and they're holding a comfortable 3-0 advantage to start.
Did hear the whistle ring out right after the spike. No indication was made until just moments ago. There was a foul assessed to Max Ayad, picking up his second goal on the season.
And for Pittsburgh, you haven't had really a chance to get into flow. You had a couple of passes on the first offensive point, then a drop, and then that one was just a first throw turnover. So really, you haven't had your offensive line get into any type of flow state or motion right now, as you see a lot of defensive line players now on the field.
And yet another block. This time looks to be Shea. Benvenista tried to initially skip into the end zone, acting like it was a continuation of where he caught it. Will be called for the travel, and the Rush will back up. Yet another turnover caused. Now it's Kamire. Kamire going far side. It's Swang to Robinson. Toronto Rush firing on all cylinders here in the first quarter. 4-0 stands the score. And the Thunderbirds searching for options.
options, answers. They need something right now, maybe a timeout. They've given up 4 goals, and it's been 4 different players finding the score sheet with goals, and also 4 different players throwing assists right now. So a balanced effort from this Toronto team. That beneath a little bit of an early selly, but it doesn't come back to harm them as they work through the double team and eventually find the end zone.
Picturesque start for the hosts. Robinson picking up goal number 5 on the season. It's goal number 4 for the Rush, still without an answer from the Thunderbirds. Zaccardi now. Will he be the spark?
They just need to see one goal right now, and as I say that,
Floating up into the air.
The one playing more tricks.
Zaccardi nearly had a second or a third attempt at it as Jivaraja finds Podnar. There'll be contact called. Rush will be just a hair outside of the end zone. It'll be Justin Podnar to restart play. Have Harry Norris momentarily looking inside and does ultimately find him. A calamity in the end zone, bodies flying everywhere, but it was Harry Norris on the receiving end of the dish from Podnar. 5-0 now sits the scoreline.
That was Owen Watt bumping Norris afterwards. Some extracurriculars from this Pittsburgh side, but right now they need to, like you said, search for some answers. They have not strung together more than 3 throws so far in this game, and it's been 5 points. It's been all Toronto. The pressure being applied has been real sticky. And Pittsburgh, I'm surprised they haven't called a timeout here, Adam. With the start the way it is, you got here late. It is not a good beginning for them, and for them to not try to settle things down and just try to work through it, I'm a little bit surprised, I'll be honest.
Looks as though an unsportsmanlike will be given to number 22, Owen Watt, for his contact with the Rush's number 22, Harry Norris, following the goal. So the Rush will advance up the field before the pull from Isaiah Massa-Kelly. Get things back underway all the way to the midway point of the field. Point, Theo, still no timeout being called. It's one-way traffic right now. Toronto Rush bulldozing the visitors through the opening few moments.
Yeah, it's truly baffling they have not called a timeout right now because their offense has looked out of sync from the start. This is their D-line now out on the field.
Repperman to call. Call looking to go back to Repperman. Disc did hit the ground. Some contact was called, and so Pittsburgh will have another crack at it. Double team now. A lot of big bodies for the Rush. Now it's Repperman with open field. Can't quite lead Ryan Kindell. He'll connect now with Ward. Ward looking for Marshall as Shea hits the deck. Selic. First real spell. Offensive pressure from Pittsburgh in this game so far.
They're showing patience as well.
Duncan into the end zone. And finally the seal has been broken. Duncan to Ward. Pittsburgh is on the board.
Duncan leads the team in goals as he throws the assist there, so he's used to playing offensive line. As he throws the little pop backhand for the assist. And now if you're Pittsburgh, you just want to grind out this Toronto O-line a bit, see if they can make them throw a few passes because they got a clean hold to begin the game. And conversely on the Rush side, if you can get a quick hold and make this offensive line come back out, which hasn't scored yet, that's certainly what you want as we see Duncan back on the field for Pittsburgh here, leading this D group.
Ryan Ward, just his second goal on the season. Will that get the engine running for the visiting Pittsburgh Thunderbirds? Turner at the midfield line. Resets with Polas. Polas up for Dylan. Speed on display for the rush, but not quite quick enough there. Is Adam Turcotte as it sails out of his reach. Long arms of Turcotte has once again turned over by Pittsburgh, and some contact on Marty Galaz. He'll take the free yards. Once again, an unforced error from Pittsburgh. Gives Toronto a short field to work with.
You were able to get a turnover, but then the first throw is into the turf. That is tough because that was what they needed after getting that first clean hold of the game.
Gallant for Dylan. Smooth operation for the rush. Nearing the halfway point of the first quarter, already a 6 spot up on the board. To your point, Theo, take the doubt away early. Come out with their best punch of the season. Have the rush. 6-1 sits the scoreline as Dylan finds the end zone.
And it's still been balanced scoring for this Toronto team. A new player has thrown an assist or a goal, so everyone getting involved right now for this rush side as they continue to be in the playoff picture. And certainly they've circled this game. Then they have the Oregon Steel and Seattle Cascades on the road. Big Northwest road trip, first time ever. How are they going to respond to that? They're going to continue to focus on this one, but certainly Rush fans got their eyes on other games coming up as they try to solidify their playoff situation.
Offenkamp to Watt. Swang on the mark. As Offenkamp advances, finds Zaccardi. Back for Offenkamp.
And Hoff hasn't really gotten involved as we've seen the offense be quite stagnant. So let's see if 24 can go to work here for Pittsburgh. He's drawing the Isaiah Massett-Kelly matchup.
Howard looking. Was Dillard the intended target? Owen Robinson with the breakup, but there's contact called as we see a couple pats on the back from both of the players. Seem to be no harm, but I can't say no foul because one was called. Dillard looking this time for Owen Watt out of his reach. Unable to string any sort of consistency together. Pittsburgh Thunderbirds.
Dillard's had a really rough start for Pittsburgh right now. I'm wondering if they're going to maybe move another handler perhaps onto the O-line right now.
Hodnar with a misstep and stall count rising. Back for Kamire. Now Robinson all the way back to Massett-Kelly and receives it back from him. Hodnar middle of the field. He's got ground to make up, but this will sail through the sideline.
I'm not sure what Robinson saw there. There was no one really going deep. Perhaps Ricky Zwang, but he was kind of coming back into the underspace. So not sure what he was looking for, giving Pittsburgh another chance here on offense.
Looking deep. It'll be a jump ball. Zwang and Toll. And it will keep sailing, and it's batted through the end of the end zone. Combination of Zwang and Massett-Kelly, and immediately Eric Zwang gets up hobbling, makes a motion to the bench. He'll leave the field under his own power, but limping as we see a big chunk of turf being brought up by the landing. Eric Zwang, team lead in blocks, 12 coming into this match. We'll see who the scorers go with on that one, whether it was Massett-Kelly or Zwang. Ilevan Jivaraja, number 23, near side of your screen, came on to replace him.
Anson Repperman, who's guarding Jivaraja now, also coming in. He's replacing Owen Watt from Pittsburgh, or for Pittsburgh, excuse me.
Hodnar. Looking deep for Shea, but there's company. It's going to hang in there for a while. Bembanista might have a read on it. Someone's got it, and it's Jivaraja. Through the crowd, up strong with his right hand. Ilavan Jivaraja. In his season debut.
League debut, season debut, and you get a goal. That's got to feel special, Adam.
And a highlight reel play at that. That one will be on repeat for quite a while. 7, 8 bodies in the end zone. Number 23, looking like another 23 that some people might talk. Don't want to quite say Air Jivaraja yet, but certainly
that
some
might be
hang
a little
time.
too early. It's his first game.
Certainly some hang time on display.
You know, I hope that Toronto listens to this and they create like an Air Jivaraja like T-shirt or something that they're going to wear. That's all I'm saying.
Play is back underway. 7-1 sits the score. Under 4 minutes to go in the first. Something we've mentioned through this first quarter, still no timeouts called from Pittsburgh. Possibly hoping that if they can string a couple of goals together, use them strategically towards the end of the half, getting a couple extra chances to bring things in close as we nearly had another turnover.
Even that throw choice, that inside out, turning away from the target, not what you're looking for. It was bailed out by the receiver there.
Owen Watt looking up for Owen Watt, taken away by Phil Turner. Sicardi, rather, the intended target. But you've got to be perfect when Phil Turner hovers in the airspace. Won't come back to hurt them, at least right now. The Thunderbirds will take the disc back. Throwaway up the near sideline.
I think Watt might have actually got a touch on it. We'll have to maybe see another look. It looked like it was a straight line, and then he batted it to take it away from Harry Norris. But either way, good hustle to try to get it back here. But you can see the pressure of these marks, making that around reset very difficult. And some of these throwers for Pittsburgh are hesitant to make that happen right now.
Offenkamp drawing a double momentarily. And once again, unforced error. This time it was Jake Murray on the receiving end, unable to corral it. Nam Ho now on that 30-yard line, looking inside for Norris. Norris has his second of the game. And the Rush off and running in this first quarter. 8 already on the board. 2 minutes to go in the first.
What's been standing out for Toronto is that they haven't had to use any timeouts here, Adam. And B, their D-line offense has not turned it back when they get those turns. They're able to punch those in, not make these super long points. That's why we have the scoreline the way it is with the time we have left. It's because their D-line has been very efficient right now. And conversely, it allows their O-line to just hang out, be spectators on the bench cheering on their D squads.
D-line conversions have been a bit of a question mark for the Rush this season. Hovering under 40% coming into today, third last in the league. Trying to change that narrative right now as looking deep. It was Reppermund who sail harmlessly through the end zone. Looking for Reed Duncan. No defender in the area, but unable to connect. Still no timeout has been called by Pittsburgh. Stuck 8-1 currently, a minute and a half to go. This first quarter. Kamire up the far sideline. Shea was on a zipper, couldn't find him. Robinson, Bembanista to his left, Kamire to his right, and Jivaraja in front of him. Tassa Kelly, 17 as of right now. Now it's Robinson, looking up for Bembanista with 2 hands for safety. Evan Bembanista against his old squad. Has an assist already, and now he adds a goal.
That's a great throw there from Owen Robinson. The edge control, to have it sit out, not float enough for another Pittsburgh defender to get there. That takes a lot of practice, and Owen Robinson certainly has had that and has really broken out as a D-line stalwart for this Toronto team as one of their key handlers. 10 assists in his career coming into this game, and you'll take that as someone on the D-line. Now for Pittsburgh, you do get the disc in the second quarter. So let's see if you can get a quick hold and prevent Toronto, or maybe elongate it so that it hits 0, so that Toronto doesn't get on the field again in this quarter.
Offenkamp. Yep. Finds Jimmy Toll, takes some contact, and he'll get some free yards for the contact from Justin Podnar.
Podnar knew he stripped it as well. He gave it right back to Toll. We've seen Toronto use double teams pretty liberally here, and that's something that Jimmy Millage and Travis Puckrin mentioned they would do heading into this game, was use a lot of double teams, especially on a thrower like Hoffenkamp. So keep an eye on that throughout the rest of this game.
As we mentioned at the top of the show, one of our players to watch, 24, Will Hoffenkamp.
He's been quiet.
Unable to really get going today, as it's Watt lays out to keep the possession alive. Hoffenkamp now near sideline. Single coverage as of now. Murray for Watt. Time running out. And in fact, time will run out with the Thunderbirds on the doorstep. Unable to see the clock. No countdown being given to him. And the quarter will end with the disc in the hands of Owen Watt. And the scoreline staying the same at 9-1.
The sideline has one job there, and that's to relay the clock to the players on the field. They were being a little casual with how they were attacking. They also were working on this close side, refusing to kind of swing it to the other side of the field. But that's been emblematic of what's happened in this game so far. Just execution errors from Pittsburgh have plagued them, and that's why the scoreline reads 9-1 right now.
Take a look at our end of first quarter stats. And what speaks to you the most right now, Theo, has to be that D-line conversion. 7 of 9 for the rush.
Some teams don't even get 7 breaks in a game, Adam. So for this team to have it in a quarter is actually phenomenal. So we got to give the props over to this Toronto defensive line. In Pittsburgh, they're huddled up right now. Coaching staff, once again, I'm a little bit surprised they didn't call a timeout, choosing to let their players play through it. But right now, your messaging to them is, hey, we just got to take it a couple points at a time. Let's play a game to 3. Let's win a game to 3. And if we can string a couple of those along, we might have a shot at making a little bit of a run and a comeback here.
Let's take a look now at some of the action in this first quarter. It started early, and it stayed often Polaz to Turcotte to open things up.
We've seen some of those extracurriculars there. Ayad getting his unsportsmanlike after Zaccardi bumped him a little bit after the play. But it's been execution error after execution error for Pittsburgh. That was the turnover where their D-line got a turn back after scoring a hold, and they were able to just give it right back to Toronto, and that has continued to plague them throughout this game, and multiple players getting involved for the rush, including Jivaraja with the sky, getting up for his first UFA goal. You're doing it in style right there.
6 players in the area, and it was Air Jivaraja coming down with the disc.
Hey, that's what we're calling him from now on, Adam. He doesn't get a choice. That's a given nickname by Adam Hunt now.
Well, when you wear the 23 and you can jump like that, eventually the comparisons will be made. So once again, Adam Hunt alongside Theo Wan, we thank you so much for joining us on WatchUFA.tv and those watching on YouTube with CBC Sports. 9-1 sits the scoreline. Toronto Rush firing on all cylinders. While the Pittsburgh Thunderbirds looking for an offensive explosion of their own here in this second quarter. Both teams neck and neck when it comes to goals scored per game. 18.67 for the Rush, already halfway to that mark in just 1 quarter of play. While the Thunderbirds, 18.6, but just 1 to show for 12 minutes of action here from Varsity Stadium. It's a bit of a cliche, but it's something you always say when you're down. If they can score 9 in 1 quarter, so can we.
We can do the same.
Exactly. I'd like to thank my Pee Wee hockey coach for that beautiful words of wisdom. Back underway from Varsity Stadium. Will Hoffenkamp working this time with Lucas Storm. Looking inside, finds Dillard. Dillard marked by Gamire Hoffenkamp on the doorstep. And it's a clean hold to start the quarter for Pittsburgh. Jake Murray on the receiving end this time. Will Hoffenkamp finally gets things going for this O-line. Cuts the deficit back to 7.
Audible cheers from the Pittsburgh sideline when that score happens, so perhaps that can inject some energy to this Thunderbird side. Let's see if they can ramp it up with a block or even forcing just a throwaway to try to just slowly chip away at this lead. The vibe's a little bit better than what we saw in the first quarter, and certainly scoring a quick hold will do that. But let's see if they can string together a couple points here. You don't need to get it all back right now. If you can reduce this lead to 3 or 4 heading into the third quarter, you're feeling okay. You still just don't want the lead to continue to balloon the way it has.
Mentioned starting off with a clean hold. Is a break next up for Pittsburgh. Adam Turcotte with the disc now. Toronto rush. Looking to stall any and all hopes of a comeback. Wide margin for now as Dillon draws the double around midfield. Dillon for Mulaney. Looks as though he just got a toe down on that far sideline. Now Turner had Polaz momentarily. Will find him as the speedy Ryan Polaz finds some empty space.
He's been quiet too, but the offensive line hasn't been on. So that's why we haven't said his name too much, the player to watch for us for the rush.
Just 3 opportunities for the O-line in that first quarter. And they cash in here in the second. Clean hold to start. Polaz to Dillon. As the rush now hit double digits in just under 2 minutes of play in the second quarter.
And to be fair to Ryan Polaz, he does have 2 assists on the 3 offensive points for Toronto. So he has been making noise on the chances he's done.
Max Ayad with the pull. Will float its way into the end zone. It'll be collected by Jake Murray. Murray to Zaccardi. Backing up are the Thunderbirds deep in their own end zone.
See if they can connect a little bit more with their handlers and cutters as a big deep shot goes up.
Storm looking deep. It's Hoffenkamp. Looks like he might have a read on it. Hoffenkamp wins the race. The Thunderbirds start off this second quarter. 2 clean holds. It's Will Hoffenkamp, an assist last time out. And now scratches his name into the score sheet goal category.
Nice to have a 6'5" cutter making that throw there in Lucas Storm. 3 assists, 3 goals in their lone win of the season over Philadelphia in the Commonwealth Cup. Comes up big there for that throw. And moving Hoff downfield is something that they have often done, and certainly we're seeing it pay dividends so far now as Hoffenkamp, like you mentioned, an assist and now a goal. So starting to really break out here in the second quarter as you see him talking to his team, trying to usher them to a comeback.
Would be a great time for a break. If you're the Thunderbirds, come out with 2 clean holds. You'd love to cut into that deficit just a little more before halftime. Don't let things get out of reach as Mulaney unable to corral it.
This is where I would call a timeout. You have 2 of them. Use a timeout, get Hoff and some of these offensive players on the field, but Pittsburgh looking like they're moving and don't need my help.
Moving into rush territory. It's Call looking inside, nobody home, and it's Dillon with the breakup. Rush take back over, it's Polaz looking for Turner. Turner had to slow up his run to run into it, and now he's looking deep for Gallant. Will he get there before the end line? It looks as though he's out. A great effort from the speedy Marty Gallant, but just not quite enough real estate at the back of the end zone.
That was vision from Phil Turner. I did not see Marty Gallant speeding up that far side of the field. Like to see Turner adding those kind of throws into his bag. We know he's a big-time defensive player, a former All-Star in the UFA here.
And to your point, comes up with a block, and now it's Polaz to Dillon again. All thanks to the breakup from the former D-line star, Phil Turner.
I'm going to keep sounding like a broken record, but Adam, where do they know they have timeouts? Let's get the offense on the field. Right now it's been too stagnant.
Especially given the response from the Pittsburgh O-line at the quarter break. Came out with 2 clean holds back-to-back. You wonder if maybe one of those timeouts was called when the score was 4-0 or 5 as opposed to 9-1 to end the first quarter of play. Would we be talking about a whole different game right now? However, we're going to keep talking about this game right now as we're back underway. Wind rearing its ugly head once again, a staple of Rush home games this season. As Zaccardi now looking for Watt and finds him. Dillard. For Storm. Storm and Hoffenkamp, 2 of the taller players. Right now back close to the disc. You'd wonder if we're going to start seeing more Hucks. The Thunderbirds do lead the UFA coming into today's match in Hucks attempted per game. Dillard for Watt.
They've struggled to complete almost half of those, so certainly a Huck-happy team. We'll see how they work in their efficiency the rest of the year, and including in this game as Hoffenkamp now in the backfield.
Watt looking for Dillard. He reaches out. A Superman-like dive trickles off the end of the fingertips. And what was finally some sustained offensive pressure from Pittsburgh yields no result. As Luke Camire now will drive for the rush. Break chance opportunity. The deadly D-line has yet another chance to add a point to their name today. Bambanista looking up for Dillard, but it won't matter. A timeout was called. This time from the Rush sideline. Looking to go over things as we sit 11-3. Toronto Rush lead.
Bambanista looking at coach. Hey, I was about to make that throw. Why are you calling a timeout out here? We had our D-line offense going. This is the first time that Toronto's called a timeout, and they're going to, let's see who they put out on the field. Are they going to keep their D-line on here? I do see Puckering trying to talk to them. It looks like maybe the D-line is going back out.
A lot of miles being logged on this D-line. It looks like they could certainly use some victory insoles. Sprint faster, cut sharper, and recover smarter. Victory insoles and recovery footwear are the ultimate upgrade on and off the field. Learn more about Victory technology and get your pair at vktry.com. Victory.com.
Hey, Kelsey, stand. Kelsey, you're on the left.
6 minutes and 37 seconds to go in our first half of action. Toronto lead 11-3 as it stands right now. A quick timeout was called by the Rush sideline. You see Luke Camire start things off at about the 35-yard line on the right side of your screen. Flanked to his left by Robinson. Hodnar in front of him. Jivaraja and Mulaney. Deep space, but Mary resets with Robinson.
So this is the D-line on the field. The O squad isn't coming on, so maybe just want to settle things down, allow the D-line offense to get some good reps here.
Mentioned a lot of points being played already by this D-line squad. Breath of fresh air, a little drink of water, and get right back to it. Raja for Bembanista, just not quite sure of himself on the reception. May have been a little bit of a tip out of his hands.
Some pressure there from Call, making it just Bembanista have to think twice about it.
It's Marshall now. Dishing off for Kendall. Finally see that timeout being called. 5:46 to go in the second quarter. 11-3 still sits our scoreline.
You can hear David Berg from up here yelling for a timeout to the near side ref. Head coach this year after being an assistant last season, also coaches the club team Pittsburgh Temper and the University of Pittsburgh and Sabanur college team. Coming off a quarterfinals appearance at College Nationals, so saw him out there as well. So certainly a lot of Pittsburgh talent from the university also on the squad, like Will Hoffenkamp.
Fast-paced and competitive, any surface, indoor or out, Disket is round net meets ultimate, and it's the must-have portable game for every UFA fan. Set Disket up in 3 minutes for hours of fun. Get yours at disketgame.com.
Multiple timeouts on this point. This is still an offensive one for Pittsburgh. So their O-line now returns to the field with Hoffenkamp at the front of the stack.
$5 for 3. Up for grabs is up to $100 in cash. All you have to do is put
2 timeouts later, Pittsburgh takes over.
at the end of the third quarter.
Zaccardi, stall count rising, has to force it. Falls to Harry Norris, and Norris, no hesitation, looking for Nishizaki, just a few yards short of the end zone, but he's got Dillon, loses his footing, however, and then finds Norris returning the favor. Noah Nishizaki with an assist for the Harry Norris bookend. Norris again finds the end zone. 5.5 minutes to go, 12-3, the Rush lead.
4 goals coming into this game on the year, and already have 3 in this game. So trying to match that total in one contest. A great start here on D-line for double twos Harry Norris. And if you're Pittsburgh and a Pittsburgh fan watching, first of all, thank you for tuning in. Second of all, that is not what you want to see, because you call the timeout and you have a first row turnover from Zaccardi there. Need a little bit more help in the reset space after the double team there. And now the lead is up to 9.
Max Ayad resumes play. It bounces away from Alexander Kirijes. Excuse me. Now it's Toll looking for Hoffenkamp. Ayad was closing, had to be sure. It was Will Hoffenkamp, and he was. It's Murray now looking deep. It'll be a jump ball, and it's reeled in by, it looks like, Lucas Storm. The tall, deep threat for the Thunderbirds. Finds the end zone. We'll see what kind of fight is left from the away squad with just under 5 to go before halftime. 12-4 sits the scoreline as Lucas Storm finds the end zone.
There is a lot of game left if you're Pittsburgh. You just have to, we saw how many points Toronto was able to put up with their D-line offense being efficient. That can happen for you. But at some point, you gotta have to generate a bit more pressure on this offensive line and then take advantage of those turnovers when you get them. Toronto 4 for 4 on holds right now, holding at an insane 100%.
Pittsburgh goal scored by number 31, Lucas Storm. Assist number 14, Jake Murray. Time to goal, 7 minutes, 3 seconds. Storm from Murray at 7:03.
Polaz in the back of the end zone for Gallant, who finds Dillon up the near sideline for Turner. Quick throws for the rush, had them out of the danger zone, but then a turnover from Turner. Now has a tip and a grab from Spencer Dillon. Looked as though there was a lane open for Pittsburgh, but doing well was Dillon to break it up, although Mulaney with one hand unable to corral this, and we've got some frantic action here with 4 to go in the second.
Reppermund was involved in that defensive play with a good switch, turns it over, then puts some pressure on Mulaney there. So he's been involved, the veteran, all over. And another turnover here from Pittsburgh.
Miscue from Reed Duncan looking for Ryan Ward. And now with numbers, the rush advance. Turner opts to slow things up. Inside for Dillon. Dillon to Gallant. Gallant looking for Jamison. Have to run under it. There's company. Marshall tipped and corralled. Rowan Jamison off the deflection. Marshall did well to close and made that a very difficult play for Rowan Jamison.
Marshall making a pretty athletic play here with the layout, doesn't touch Jamison, but just unlucky there. I don't think he could have done the old adage of catch your D's, because I think that's all he could have done, just outstretch the left hand, try to get a piece of it. Unfortunately, if you're Pittsburgh, it goes into the hands of Rowan Jamison, getting his first goal of the game.
Rowan Jamison, 10 goals on the season coming into today's match, and finally sees his number called in the end zone. 11 now. It's 11 for 11 during the UFA season.
Toronto goal scored by number 11, Rowan Jamison. Assist number 33, Murray Gallant.
See how Pittsburgh navigates this constant Toronto double team. We've seen it all game so far.
Jamison from Gallant at 8:33.
Camp trying to work in limited space, and you see the pressure on display once again. Unforced error. Podnar to Masik Kelly. Now Kamire. He's got options, but he's going to weigh them for a moment. Inside, and it's Eric Ricky Zwang in the end zone off the dish from Kamire. Once again, unforced error punished by the Toronto Rush D-line.
Toronto's O-line jogging back out on the field. Excuse me, Pittsburgh's O-line jogging back out on the field. Coming into this year, they lost one of their big-time handlers, Jonathan Mast, who's now in the Indy Alley Cats. Led the team with 28 assists a year ago. He's been a consistent handler for this Pittsburgh team since 2015. So you're certainly seeing someone like that not in action for Pittsburgh. That has affected them. And then Marcel Oliard, who's now a coach, coming off an injury. He was their leading scorer with 30 goals in 2025. So they're having to replace some production, other players having to slot into certain roles, and we're seeing that affect them at least here today.
Thrown away again, and it's Namho. This time to Owen Robinson. And when it rains, it pours here at Varsity Stadium. Pittsburgh Thunderbirds unable to scratch anything together. Stuck 11 with 2.5 to go in the second.
It's one of those things where as a player, and, you know, you mentioned your Pee-wee hockey days here, Adam, but as a player, when you see a couple of mistakes compound, it just continues, it kind of spirals. You got to try to get yourself out of it in some way. I know mental performance in sports is a very big thing now. Not as much when I was a kid, you know, but certainly it's becoming more and more of a thing, and this is something the players will learn from. How do we bounce back when we make a couple mistakes? We see Hoffenkamp with kind of, I don't want to say the laziest throw, but just an open side throw that he turns over. He doesn't usually make that mistake. So what else is going on there as Pittsburgh now stuck 11 points?
Toronto Rush goal, scorer number 27, Owen Robinson. Assist number 28, Nam Hall. Time of the goal, 9 minutes, 31 seconds.
Once again, this time it's Alexander Kirige, unable to corral it and punished immediately. Podnar to Turner. Just an unforced error. Two-handed drop coming this time. And the Rush off and running, firing on all cylinders. Wind at their back, whatever you'd like to call it. They are on fire. 16 already on the board with 2 minutes to go in the second.
Podnar, 3 assists coming into today, already has 3 now in this game. So number 0, one of those BC imports, along with Max Petnuzzo and Guggen Chata, who are both not in attendance here today. Some players are trying to inject some life into this Toronto team after they had the Rush reboot last year with a lot of Europeans, a lot of those players not, or all those players not on the team. Other well-known names like Oscar Stonehouse, Ty Barbieri, Mikey McKenzie, they're not on the squad as well. So other players have had to step up, and they get some additions like Justin Podnar to this team.
Availability has been, but the only question mark surrounding Justin Podnar is on play. In fact, we've got a Callahan, excuse me. Noah Nishizaki. Unbelievable. Once again, a high-risk throw, and this time it's the ultimate punishment. Noah Nishizaki, a Callahan at Varsity Stadium.
To see it sarcastically, David Burns throwing the big TO sign to the refs there. Body language, of course, expected right now. Quite down for Pittsburgh. They just had multiple own end zone turnovers that have plagued them, and they're going to just try to reset here. You have a game tomorrow against Chicago at 2 p.m. Got to drive back tonight, and they're going to just have to reset and try to take some of those things for the next game, because right now they're stuck 13 with 1:54 left.
As you mentioned, 17-4 sits our score line, and it's been all Toronto Rush so far. Of course, if you'd like to continue your support for either squad, whether it be the Toronto Rush or the Pittsburgh Thunderbirds, any name, any number, and any team, get your custom jersey by Be Ultimate, starting at only $55 in the UFA shop. Plus, grab the latest Pro Frisbee designs and UFA gear, all at shopufa.com.
For context here, Adam, their first game against the Empire, Toronto only put up 15 points. In their win at home against Montreal that you referenced with a little bit of the bad weather at the end, they scored 18. So they are already at 17 here today. In their loss to Boston at home recently, they scored 16. So they've already done that here in one half in what has been an offensive explosion, to say the least.
Ranked 13th in the league coming into today, 18.67 goals scored per game. They've got a chance to overtake that mark completely in just one half of play, 1:54 to go. 17 for the Rush, just 4 for the Thunderbirds.
Toronto Rush goal, scorer number 27, Owen Robinson. Assist number 0, Justin Podnar. Time of the goal, 10 minutes, 58 seconds. Robinson from Podnar at 10:58.
Pete Zaccardi looking to salvage any sort of points that might still be on the board for Pittsburgh before the halftime break. You have to think, and this time it's Mulaney on the effort. causing all sorts of problems for Owen Watt on the near sideline. First throw turnover once again. Could we see potent D-line conversion rate continue to stay that way for the Rush as it's Galan this time. Looking for Big Phil Turner at the back of the end zone. Didn't have a clear lane. Well done from Jake Murray to make up for the height. Closed well. It's Phil Turner wide open in the back of the end zone.
And this is Toronto's O-line playing defense right now, so they've been off for so long. They got to get the O-line some burn here. Looks like Jake Murray is coming off for an injury. Coming in his stead is the rookie from Oberlin College, Ryan Ward. This will stay in the hands of Pittsburgh here and Lucas Storm. Got a bit of a height advantage on Spencer Dillon right now.
Still inside their own end zone, not anymore, as he finds Owen Watt. Turner on the mark. Offenkamp has to work so hard to find any space at all. Now with the lanky Adam Turcotte taking up all sorts of real estate around him. Ryan Ward. For Zaccardi. Looks like this could be off as well. Zaccardi will have to make a play, and he does, but he can't secure it. But it looks like there was some contact after the catch. Pittsburgh will keep it with some free yards at that. Well done from Zaccardi to keep the possession alive. Now finds his way to Toll. Toll looking end zone. It's Kelsey Mullaney this time with the breakup. And Coach Jamie runs all the way down the sideline to get his timeout in. It looks like he won't get to it in time as time runs out. What can only be described as an offensive explosion in this first half. 17 already on the board for the Toronto Rush. Just 4 for the Pittsburgh Thunderbirds. Both teams certainly have their objectives going into halftime. You see, it looks like the Rush trying to argue that they got the timeout in time, but the clock expires. So we will go to the halftime break with the scoreline as it stands. Rush 17, Pittsburgh 4.
We've done better, but I know we can get there. We had 11 in the first quarter, actually.
Take a look now at our halftime stats. Once again, the most staggering score of all, 17-4. But what else sticks out to you, Theo?
The D-line opportunities. Pittsburgh's had 5 of them. Unable to cash in on any of those. And they've been 50% at their hucks, which is kind of at their season average. It's just the short field turnovers that continue to plague them over and over again. We see Oliard and Berg, the rest of the coaching staff discussing things with Pittsburgh. How are they going to find an answer here in the second half?
Pittsburgh's weekend is not done either. They head back home tomorrow to welcome the Chicago Union. We're going to take a quick break here on WatchUFA.tv and on YouTube with CBC Sports. We thank you so much for joining us. Adam Hunt and Theo Wan. Coverage continues after the break.
The Ultimate Frisbee Association is proud to partner with Victory. Elevate your game with Victory insoles and recovery footwear at VKTRY.com. Delta THC Seltzers. No calories, no sugar, no alcohol. Catch life's moments at DrinkDelta.com. Two Town Cider House, bringing the best craft cider for everyday celebration. Find yours at twotownciderhouse.com. And Disc-It. Round Net meets Ultimate. Disc-It is the must-have portable game for every UFA fan. Get yours at discitgame.com.
Welcome back to Varsity Stadium. Week 8 in the UFA, the host side Toronto Rush currently leads 17-4 over the visiting Pittsburgh Thunderbirds. And we'll take a quick look back at some of the action in that first half as Isaiah Massett-Kelly in his big frame finds his way into the end zone. And of course, the highlight of the entire half, Air Jivaraja goes up with one hand, and that was all he needed for one of the best goals we've seen from the Rush this season.
Toronto's been doing it on all sides of the field, getting multiple blocks, generating unforced turnovers from this Pittsburgh side. Tons of players getting involved. Certainly this is something they want to carry on to their next matchups as they head over to the West Coast. We've seen Hoffenkamp get a little involved here and certainly want to see more of that for this Pittsburgh team as he's on the receiving end of that huck there, but an unfortunate touch. Tried to get the block was Marshall, but it was Toronto that will make things happen, including this amazing Callahan from Noah Nishizaki celebrating with his teammates.
Giving Ilevan Jivaraja a run for his money with the highlight of the half. A rare Callahan here in the UFA. Once again, Adam Hunt and Theo Wan. Our coverage will continue, but we're going to take just a quick break. We thank you for watching us on WatchUFA.tv and on YouTube with CBC Sports.
It is championship weekend in the Western Ultimate League.
Covered and grabbed! It's Yen! Oh, what a grab! And
Grab from Chung, and as Chang launches to Stetmeyer for a goal.
and a blazing
in the end zone, and it's a layout grab.
Up for Milner.
Wow! Oh my goodness, Leah. That was a dime ball.
We are back inside Varsity Stadium here in Toronto, Ontario. A beautiful day for some weather and a beautiful day for the Toronto Rush as we once again take a look at our halftime stats. 17 sits the score for the Rush, just 4 trips to the end zone for the visiting Pittsburgh Thunderbirds. And one of the staggering stats that we see, 12 of 16 on D-line conversions for the Rush, and a big part of that has been the unforced errors coming from the Pittsburgh Thunderbirds. It started early and it stayed around. We see, once again, turnovers, a massive story. 16th in the league with 21.8 turnovers for the Thunderbirds coming into today. Already have 16 on the stat sheet, which helps out the D-line conversion rate for the Toronto Rush. 8 of 12 officially, well past their season mark. Just under 40% coming into today. Third last in the league will receive a big bump from today's efforts. once again. Adam Hunt alongside Theo Wan. For the Pittsburgh Thunderbirds, it certainly seems like the message is clear. Take care of the disc and start to chip away. No locker room for the away side. Of course, they have one, but choosing not to use it. Here at halftime, all players staying out on the field, huddled, going over things. What exactly could you be saying right now if you were head coach, Theo?
Well, right now I see David Berg very impassioned talking to his team. I think just trying to fire them up to execute a little bit stronger here. That's been one thing of note. You see Hoffenkamp's language, number 24, just listening in. But what is also surprising to me is that despite the scoreline the way it is, Pittsburgh's line calling discrepancy has been quite high. So there are multiple players right now that have only played 2 points in this game. So 3 players have played 2, one's played 3. And then on the other side, you have players who have played upwards of over 10 points. So with the scoreline the way it is, I might want to see what these younger players who might not have as much experience can do in the spotlight right now, because currently what's happened so far hasn't clearly worked with the scoreline the way it is.
Another point of note as well, our player to watch for today's match, number 24, Will Hoffenkamp, as you mentioned, listening intently into the team huddle, has just had no space to operate, Theo. Seems like every time it's a double team, and when he does have single coverage or person coverage, it seems as though it's one of the big bodies of Podnar or Turcotte, long limbs to contend with all over the field.
Right now, Charles clearly made a big emphasis on playing strong reset defense, and that's led to a lot of those short field turnovers. They've often, even at times, been afraid to throw around and try to get to the other side of the field, so they're getting stuck into one side of the disc, or one side of the pitch, I should say, and that limits your options as a thrower. If you can't get to the middle of the field, you can only work from that open side. All those defenders are already on that lane of the field. So certainly they're going to look to try to go a little bit more laterally to open up some of their vertical attack.
And once again, Adam Hunt, Theo Wan, second half of action just moments away. We'll be back after the break.
With the size, the speed, the read.
Did he throw it the full 80 yards of the field?
You cannot kill this Minnesota team.
Are you believing what you're seeing?
My hands are on my head up here in the booth.
Was there any doubt? Was there any doubt? Holy smokes!
Welcome back inside Varsity Stadium. We take a look at that man right there. Number 35, Evan Bembanista, played for Pittsburgh the last 2 seasons. Limited in his opening season, but made a big impact last year, and maybe not quite where he'd like to be stats-wise, but certainly making an impact against his old squad in that first half, Theo.
Playing primarily on offensive line the year prior with Pittsburgh, he's had a little bit of share of some offensive load here, but mostly been playing D-line for this Toronto team. And he's added a lot of height and dynamism because he can go deep, but don't sleep on him as a thrower either. That's the thing that's easy to think when you see the height of Bembanista. You think, oh, Vinny, as he's known in the Buffalo community, someone that only is going to go deep, but he can also throw it too. So he's got some two-way threat to him, and he's playing his college teammate Elliot Zeke Rivera. So that's pretty fun too, a fun little storyline for this game. As we see the 17-4 scoreline, fans out here enjoying the festivities that were happening here at halftime. There was like a showcase game going on.
Yep.
As we get a look at Pittsburgh, Owen Watt, excuse me, I know him as Owen because I played against him a long time ago, but Watt from Ottawa, Ontario, played in their junior scene over there, went to the University of Waterloo, now resides in Pittsburgh, has been playing there for a long time, both in the club scene and has played in the UFA as well for a few seasons. Actually got a start in Ottawa, and fun fact, first time he's ever played Toronto. So this Ottawa player, first time he's ever played this Toronto team.
Not quite the homecoming that he was after, at least in that first half. I guess not quite a homecoming for Ben Batista either. Does live closer to Toronto than Pittsburgh, but playing his old squad. A tale of two different teams, as we are just moments away from our second half of play.
And speaking of that, you brought this up already, but the fact that one team decided to not go in the locker room, stay on the field in front of these fans that have been cheering against them, right? Trying to get focused, whereas Toronto goes in the locker room looking quite jovial coming out of it, and why not with the advantage of the way you have it. But let's see how Pittsburgh comes up, because we saw in the second quarter, they had two clean holds to begin, and things looked a little bit better until wheels did kind of fall off in the middle of that frame. But let's see how they respond here in the third with the energy, as they're going to be out on defense, and see if they can rattle this Toronto offensive line, who's gone 5 for 5 on their chances.
So we saw in that first half, Pittsburgh very conservative with their timeouts, not wanting to use them to stop early runs from the rush. Do you think it's the opposite maybe here, Theo, where they'll try to stop the bleeding as quickly as possible, get a couple of advantageous looks off of timeouts, or do you kind of hold out for the end of the game, hoping that you can kind of scratch and claw your way to be a bit closer heading into the fourth or the later minutes?
I mean, at this point, this would be one of the, I don't have the stats in front of me. So maybe a statistician at home could tell us, but this, if they were to complete this comeback, this probably would be the biggest comeback in league history. I can't see another team coming back from 13 points down at half to come back. So this would be a momentous comeback, and certainly, yeah, the timeouts would be a part of that. I am still continuously surprised that they did not call one after going down 5-0 in the first quarter.
Crazy comebacks are no stranger to the sports world as of late. Of course, NBA Finals, New York Knicks, record-breaking comeback against the San Antonio Spurs in that fourth quarter. 29 points was the deficit, and they were able to erase it. So will Pittsburgh Thunderbirds follow suit? And yes, Knicks in 5.
Knicks in 5?
I think so. Wembanyama's great.
You don't give San Antonio a chance at all?
I don't know, maybe. We've got a couple of Wembanyama lookalikes here as well, taking themselves back onto the field as our second half of action is just moments away. The big bodies of Turcotte, Jamison as well. Kelsey Mulaney adding some height for this opening O-line possession. Sort of a mixed bag from the rush, not their usual crew to start the second half.
Similar for Pittsburgh, because Watt played a lot of offense, and now he adds some height onto their D-line. Only played offense here in the first half, but he's out here on D.
Hansen Reprimand just waiting for the all clear. His opening pull will start the second half of play. Varsity Stadium, Adam Hunt, Theo Wan. Of course, you watching at home, either on watchufa.tv or on YouTube with CBC Sports. We thank you so much for joining us on this picturesque day in downtown Toronto, Ontario. And the Rush putting on a show for the home side. But will it be a historic comeback for Pittsburgh to spoil all the fun here in Toronto? Mulaney with space. Makes the grab with two hands. Back for Jivaraja. Polas. Inside for Jivaraja. Jivaraja for Gallant. Couldn't have drawn it up any better. The Rush start the second half with a clean hold. Ilevan Jivaraja getting into the assist column this time. He finds the speedy Marty Gallant.
And you wouldn't even know that he hasn't played on the O-line all year. He's fitting real nice to this offensive group, getting a point and really driving the offense, facilitating and cutting in the underspace, and eventually will throw the assist to Marty Gallant. So balanced attack. No one has more than 3 assists or 3 goals for their name for Toronto. It's been everyone getting involved.
Norris and Spencer Dillon leading the charge in the goals category, and the team leading goal scorer Marty Gallant finally gets his first on the first possession of the second half. Thunder taking back over. Dillard looking for Duncan. Duncan moved to the D-line in the first half, and he's back out for the first O-line possession of the half for Pittsburgh.
That's where he is normally, as he's streaking deep right now.
Into space. It's going to tail out of the range of Reed Duncan. Kamire was there as well if it was to fall to the streaking Duncan. Kamire for Benvenista. Benvenista to Robinson. Benvenista has swung deep. Doesn't see a lane. Resets with Podnar. Podnar takes a bit of contact, and the whistle will get blown. Ryan Ward with the bump. Looks like they'll give those yards right back. It'll be Shea in the deep space with a push-off. He'll be called for offensive contact. Just as soon as they took them, they give them back. And now it's Podnar looking deep for Benvenista. Second of the match against his old squad. And it's the first of the half for the Rush. Evan Benvenista making it look easy.
I mean, off the reset, there were 2 cutters that were going deep because everyone on Pittsburgh was sitting under. No help off the top. No safeties out here on defense, and that's going to lead to an easy deep shot to number 35.
Second of the game, and an assist to go with it for the former Pittsburgh Thunderbird. Now we'll see Phil Turner making his return to the D-line. Testing out some things are the Toronto sideline as they have that West Coast road trip coming up. It all starts in Oregon on Friday. As once again, unforced error, 5 yards outside of the end zone. Ayad looking to find Nam Ho, and it will fall just outside of the end zone.
That is not the throw for Max Ayad. It's a high release flick that is edging out of bounds. That is not the look you want. Maybe try to squat down and get more of an inside flick instead. And this is what's made things difficult for Hoffenkamp, that double team.
The sideline for Murray, and Dillard can't reel it in, just out of his reach. And now it's Nishizaki looking deep. Harry Norris just outside of the end zone looking for goal number 4 on the day. Looking now and dumps off for Eric Zwang. We're used to calling his name for blocks, but he finds his way into the end zone and takes the dish from Harry Norris.
We're starting to reach the territory for any baseball fans, to be honest, because I'm a diehard baseball fan, Adam. And you've often sometimes seen when there's a blowout, the position player comes in, and some batters get home runs off the position player. It's still part of the stats. You still get credited with the home run. You're starting to see that now. A lot of D-line players are really tallying up the goal sheet, whereas in a game where it might be a bit tighter, they might only get a goal or an assist in a game. So their stats all going to be higher after this one, and we see Phil Turner back out here on D-line. Like you said, I think they are testing some things out here with the lead the way it is.
common thread all season. Whenever we speak to the Toronto Rush coaching staff, they talk about the depth of this team, and on a week-to-week basis, there's players that have to have those tough conversations that they're not in the lineup. So we've seen a few of them today. Jivaraja being one of them, inserted back in.
They've wanted him to be in the lineup for a while now. They just haven't been able to get him in, as Toronto does get another score here.
And another one, back-to-back goals for Eric Swang. Adds number 2 and 3 on back-to-back points. Once again, the onslaught continues. 21 now on the day for the Rush.
A 9-0 run for Toronto here. So they got the hold to make it 13-4. And since then, it's been all Rush here. So for Pittsburgh, you just want to see them continue to try to build some good habits with their offensive line. I know they're missing some pieces as well here today. Dylan Best being one of them. He's second on the team with 9 goals. Clint McSherry, a handler for them, who's had experience with Carolina, Dallas, and then this Pittsburgh side. He's second on the team in assists. He's not here. John McGonigal, Maxwell Olesen can throw Tristan Yarder even in that conversation. So there's a lot of people not here for Pittsburgh, and you're seeing some of the fruits of that, I guess, as they continue to be down and not able to get out of this hole. For this O-line, you just want to see them string together a possession where they feel like they're in their flow state here.
As Murray fires one downfield, taken in, this time by Ryan Ward. Ward for Hoffenkamp. He weighs his options, drops off to Storm. Storm looking inside, and Reed Duncan can't come up with it. Looks like there was some contact that will be called. It'll be Pittsburgh disc at the lip of the end zone. Duncan with the disc, looking for Storm, and finds him in the run, is finally halted. Lucas Storm finds his way to the end zone. Once again, you see the body language from Pittsburgh. Don't want to say completely defeated, because crazier things have happened. But with under 8 minutes to go in the third, deficit still 16.
You just gotta have some pride at this point, Pittsburgh pride, and just try to string together something, build some momentum for tomorrow. Tomorrow's the big game against Chicago. That is a huge one. If they want to make the playoffs, they need to win that game. And so certainly they're going to be thinking about building into that one.
We talked about pregame, sort of a mixed bag in that Central Division. So even with the loss today, playoffs are certainly not out of the question for this Pittsburgh side. Travel to Chicago to play the Union, as you mentioned, tomorrow. Or rather, traveling back home to play the Chicago Union, as Roman Jamison goes back home into the end zone. He'll add another to his name.
I see you there with the Rush Super Play.
You see the contrast, right, Adam? That Pittsburgh's old points have been a bit more laborious. It's taken more time for them to make things happen. For Toronto, they come out on the field and a couple throws in, and they're already in the end zone.
Little to no resistance coming from the opposing sideline as the Rush continue to pour it on. 8 minutes to go, less than 8 minutes to go, rather, in the third quarter. 22-5 sits the scoreline. Benvenista with the pull to restart play.
Toronto Rush goal. His second of the game, scored by number 11, Rowan Jamison. Assist number 23, Edelman Jivaraja.
And Benvenista skies for the breakup. Looking near sideline. Cross-field throw. Benvenista, his first block of the game. Already found the score sheet in the goals and assist column. What we're more known for seeing him.
You were thinking it's due time before 35 gets a block, right? That's something that he's known for.
Some goals as well this season. It's 12 on the year for him. He finds Kamire. Kamire looking for Shea. One hand on the grab and two hands touch the turf inside the end zone. 23 now for the Rush. Smashing their season average, still with 6 minutes to go in the third.
If you would like to run that flag up and down the track after a goal tonight,
Shea getting involved here. Brock University product. Going to the sandpit as well in celebration. And we've talked about this Toronto team in a playoff drought. They haven't made it since 2019. Of course, 2021, there was the Canada Cup during the pandemic, but this team looking to get themselves back in. 3-9 a year ago, a not very good 1-11 in 2024, and then a very close 5-7 in 2023. So they're trying to get themselves back there. And another short field turnover from the Thunderbirds.
Shizaki looking for Kevin Chow. Finds his name on the score sheet for the first time today.
A late addition to the lineup, Kevin Chow. I saw some Kevin Chow jerseys in the crowd, and they're gonna like what they saw from number 45. He gets the goal there. The lefty going up strong.
We'll see now once again some more juggling coming from the Toronto sideline as Kamire and Turner head out for this D-line possession. Both captains of this squad alongside Eric Swang, the team block leader. And Robinson as well alongside Nishizaki, Podnar, and Shea.
Assist number 2, Noah Nishizaki. Time to goal, 6 minutes, 10 seconds.
Tiptoes from Stevenson. Keeps things in play. Looking deep. Trying to run underneath it are 3 Thunderbirds in the area. Once again, something we've said all season. Number 5, Eric Swang with the breakup. Unbelievable the way he's able to anticipate things. Stuffing the blocks category week in and week out.
Just a rookie too, right? He's just making a name for himself in this league right now.
Very best defenders as Turner,
that is not what you want to see.
with a bit of a twist of his knee, collided that time with Elliot Rivera. No indication for a substitution. Back up to his feet with a big twist of his left knee for the big man, and he's able to dish off. Finds Luke Kamire. Usually it's the other way around. Kamire finding Turner. It's Luke Kamire, captain to captain for the Rush as they hit the 25 mark.
Talk about people switching lines. We've talked about this throughout the season. It's always interesting to see Luke Kamire, who's primarily been an offensive player, switching over to D-line. It looks like the switch has helped Toronto's D-line offense specifically. So I do like the adjustments this coaching staff has made to make that happen.
It might not show up on the stat sheets week in and week out with the D-line conversion rate being where it was for the Rush coming into today's match, but coaching staff always talk about the security that they feel on break chances with Luke Kamire out on the field. Just all of his work done as an offensive line handler. Switching to the D-line this season. Now he finds himself in the end zone. Storm. Good for Hoffenkamp. Now checked by the speedy Marty Gallant. Hoffenkamp looking deep. Podnar closes the distance, or Jameson rather, excuse me. did well to close the space and break it up, but a bit too much contact for the referee's liking. Pittsburgh on the lip of the end zone. Make no mistake, cashing in. Reed Duncan on the receiving end this time. So what was nearly a turnover, thanks to the Rowan Jamison foul, gave them a fresh chance. Edge of the end zone, and one pass was all it took to get themselves back on the scoreboard.
High fives there from the Pittsburgh sideline as they try to continue to build on some momentum here. Can they get not just beyond double digits, but can they continue to chip in and let's just get a couple of breaks? That's all they're saying. Let's get one. We haven't gotten a break yet. Let's just get one right now. Let's see the ball go through the basket, so to speak. For any statisticians at home, the most goals a Toronto team has scored looks like to be 40. I'm diving back in to June 22nd in 2013 here, Adam.
And we'll see if we'll take one step closer to that number. We won't, at least for right now. Marty Gallant putting the wheels on display. The referee was right on top of the action. Deems him out of bounds on the catch. So we take one more look at what the Thunderbirds have in store, and it's another turnover. This time, Spencer Dillon.
Pittsburgh goal scoring number 0, Reed Duncan. Assist number 28, Ryan Ward.
Jamison, tight window, but finds Polaz. Polaz for Chivaraja. Mulaney to Gallant. Polaz. Mulaney now weighing his options. No risky throws. As for right now, Rush taking time off the clock, working through their offensive sets. And then an unforced error, this time by the Rush. Polaz looking for Dillon. We've seen that connection multiple times today, usually in the end zone. Dillon sees it hit the hands and then sees it fall to the turf.
I like that Toronto's offense was being patient. You're up big, and you can choose to maybe throw something a bit fancy, trying some ambitious throws. But they were being patient there. So we see a timeout from Pittsburgh. This was player called as they were stuck, and the double team was Ryan Kindell, the Ohio State product.
It's been a story we've talked about in the pregame, and it's carried over into the match. Both teams, despite the Thunderbirds dropping this one, both teams still very much in the playoff picture. And of course, trying to book their ticket to 2026 UFA Championship Weekend, which returns to Madison, Wisconsin on Thursday and Friday, August 27th and 28th. The greatest weekend in Ultimate includes the WUL and PUL All-Star Games, fan events, giveaways, and more. Weekend passes and VIP tickets are on sale at watchufa.com.
Speaking of championship weekend, it'll be very curious to see who comes out of the East Division right now. We saw the thriller last night with Boston and New York, and certainly those are the two teams that people have as perhaps the East coming out of the East, but don't sleep on DC as well. They're 6-2. They have the same record with New York. So that top of the East, Toronto trying to get there, make the playoffs, but they have that tiebreaker down to DC right now. So that's certainly going to affect them. So they need to basically win out is their hope. They want to make the postseason for the first time since 2019.
Dillard looking for Duncan, but Swang is in the area, and he'll get the last say. As he deflects it back into the turf. Sound like a broken record, but once again a block from number 5, Ricky Zwang.
I think he wanted that to up his block stats there. He didn't necessarily have to touch it before it hit the turf, but hey, you got to add the stats right now for Ricky Zwang. He's at 3 blocks in this game.
Robinson for Camure. Smooth operation. Owen Robinson to Luke Camure, handler to handler. Nothing can go wrong here for the Rush in the second half. 1:26 to go. 26-6 sits the score.
Zwang is going to continue to climb up the leaderboard here. Currently, the top player right now is Cooper Williams with 16 blocks. Carter Langford from Oakland has 15. And Ricky Zwang coming into this game.
12
blocks, so he's going to be at 15 now.
12,
is
15,
that right?
Knocking on the doorstep of the league lead, has been in that conversation since week 1, or rather the first game of the Rush season, had 5 against Montreal Royale. Made a statement in his UFA debut.
Time to go, 10 minutes. 45 seconds. Camure for Robertson at 10.
He's going to do a quick correction to make that was against Philly. Philadelphia Phoenix was on the receiving end of 5 blocks at the hands of number 5. Eric Zwang.
No Hoffenkamp on this O point right now for Pittsburgh.
We've seen some juggling from the Rush sideline, and we'll continue to see more if third quarter has been any indication. It looks as though Pittsburgh will follow suit. Stevenson now. Looking in the back of the end zone. Reprimand looking for it. Nobody home. This time it's Kevin Chow. Comes up with the block. Owen Watt as well was tracking. The ultimate denial. Disc will come to the end of the end zone. Far sideline. And with 30 seconds to work, Toronto has a chance to bump their score up to 27 on the day. Pass what seemed like to nobody, but caught some wind and fell right into the hands of Podnar.
They had Harry Norris, and there's a couple other Toronto players open downfield in the end zone.
Coming up on 15 seconds remaining. Norris inside for Ayad, and with the short time and short field, Harry Norris connects with Max Ayad. Something we've seen a few different times today is the usual targets and the senders swapping roles, and we've seen the Ayad-Norris connection many times throughout this season, and now we see the opposite, Harry Norris finding Max Ayad. 13 seconds to work for Pittsburgh. End of the third quarter. Once again, attention will shift down the line for both squads in action very soon. Pittsburgh will head home tonight and host Chicago Union.
And that's at 2 p.m. Like, that is a quick turnaround for them.
11 minutes, 40 seconds. From Norris at 11:40.
Camure thought he had a block, but ultimately referee says he took that out of the hands. Pete Zaccardi. Zwang in the area, nearly had yet another block, and here's Reprimand. Reprimand denied by Nathan Scher, and the time will expire. With his back to Reprimand, dives out full extension, and with 2 hands, sends that disc steaming into the ground. Unbelievable display of anticipation and athleticism. Let's take one more look. Makes up the ground and comes up with the rejection.
Insane play there to end it, and that's certainly been the story of this game. Great plays on one side and just some execution on the other. Let's get one more look at this. To have the intuition and the wherewithal to just dive out. If you miss it, you're going to look a little silly there, but he makes the play. Just insane.
with his back to the man. Shea with the block, denies Reppermund, who was looking downfield. As we take a look now at our stats following 3 quarters of play, scoreline 27-6 Rush lead, and that D-line conversion rate continues to stay.
Pittsburgh is getting chances, they are, but not able to string together multiple strong possessions with their throws, with their D-line offense right now.
We take a look at some of the action in that third quarter here at Varsity Stadium. First up was Bembanista to open the scoring against his old squad. And just like we saw in the first half, little to no resistance as Marty Galah as well would join the party. A smooth operation for the Rush. Podnar to Bembanista again.
And they have 19 blocks right now. You heard me say it right, 19 blocks. Pittsburgh has given up 33 turnovers. And Toronto has just put on a real block party right now. I know the World Cup's going on. People might be out of their houses sitting on the block watching the soccer game. But right now it's a block party at Varsity Stadium. And Shea is the latest one to get it, drawing some audible O's.
As well. Blocks aplenty here today. 12.33 blocks per game coming into today. Good enough for 5th in the league for the Rush. Certainly helped out today. 19 on the day team-wise. Of course, led by the usual suspects for the Rush. Eric Zwang and Phil Turner. Zwang with 3, Turner with 2, but Spencer Dillon and Nathan Shea as well, with their fingerprints all over things defensively. 3 for Shea and 3 for Dillon. 2 for Harry Norris, Evan Bembanista, Kay Chow, Kelsey Mullaney, Rowan Jameson, Ilavan Jivaraja, and Noah Nishizaki, all finding the score sheet with a block.
You're just listing almost everyone on the roster there, man.
We'll see if more will enter that category as it'll be Pittsburgh's disc to start the 4th and final quarter of today's game. Duncan looking deep, it's Murray out of his reach. Murray with an outstretched hand, unable to get a hand on it. Ward in the area as well. Able to run underneath it. Great chance to start the 4th quarter for the Rush. Bembanista really in Callahan territory as Kamire had to be sure-handed to haul that one in, but then wasn't sure-footed, and he'll pick up a travel violation. Give up ground in their own end zone. Robinson. Back for Kamire.
Let's see if Pittsburgh can generate some of that pressure right now as Toronto's in Callahan country. They've elected not to really set double teams as Toronto looks to huck out of it.
Able to find Eric Zwang was Owen Robinson, and now Kamire looking deep for Podnar. Makes a great grab, but it won't matter. It was a whistle well behind the play. Looks like it could be an injury. Ryan Ward making his way off the field, number 28, far side of your screen, or far side of the field rather. Now he'll take a seat. Certainly seems to be under some duress. Like he'll just take a seat down. Possibly make his way back off the field under his own power, or if the training staff will join him. Just waiting for the all clear for play to resume. Kamire with the disc. Jake Murray in the vicinity looking to slow him up, but he finds Podnar. Bembanista gains ground. Batista to Robinson. Batista now for Nathan Scher. And he'll find Eric Zwang. Zwang once again making a deposit. Blocks and goals up plenty for number 5, Eric Ricky Zwang, as the Rush onslaught continues.
Scher's favorite place right now is the turf because he's making layouts everywhere, both with a layout block and then a layout to save it. It's nice to have a receiver like number 24 where you say, hey, if I just throw it out, he's going to go get it. And he's going to find Ricky Zwang, who's getting a lot of minutes right now, going to remain out on the field on this D-line.
Gas tank, certainly not in question for Eric Zwang. 4 goals on the day to go with 3 blocks.
The question is, they're at 28 right now. Adam, can they reach 40? That seems like a far stretch with 10:09 left.
Would take 12 more to get to that mark. Game high of 10 in the third quarter. See if we are in store for a record-breaking performance. Certainly a season record-breaking performance nearly all around for the Rush. Pete Siccardi. He'll look deep. It's Call. He'll go up with 2 hands. Can't secure it. Was trying to milk it to the end zone. Maybe looking a little too much towards that goal line. Unable to secure it with 2 hands.
That's been the game. That's been the game, what we've seen. This is not a typical showing from the Thunderbirds, and they're just having execution errors like we keep saying, and you're just going to foul this one away out of the memory bank and call another bobble out of the chest there. A rough sequence for number 17.
Brief turnover as well. Just moments before that, it was Kevin Chow looking for space and had it deflected away by Marshall, but now Norris is just going to outrun the field and can't corral it. Norris had a step on the defender, Malachi Marshall. Nearly added another one to the highlight tape, did Harry Norris. It's been a fantastic day of action for him. As the Pittsburgh Thunderbirds now have a little over 8 minutes to start building in the right direction, as we mentioned a few times already. Head back home tonight to have a 2 p.m. opening pull against the Chicago Union. And by no means does this tank their season. Still wide open is the playoff race. And wide open on that play was Pete Siccardi. Eric Zwang closing, however, near the end. But up strong with 1 hand, Pete Siccardi. It's the Thunderbirds on the board here in the 4th quarter.
Nice grab from Siccardi. I thought Zwang had a beat on it, trying to get his 4th block of the game. A big rip there from Noah Selic. That was a mishmash O-line for Pittsburgh there as they get the hold. A couple players who haven't got as much burn here, and they're showing what they can do as they try to maybe empty the bench a little bit here, try to chip away at this lead and get to double digits, and perhaps, like I keep saying, getting a break or 2 to build some momentum here for tomorrow.
Seeing less and less of number 24, Will Hoffenkamp. As the second half rolls on, you wonder if that is their idea. Keep the legs for tomorrow. Short turnaround. Rush, on the other hand, have a bit of a break before they head west. Lady Oregon Steel next Friday in what is a first time West Coast road trip for this Rush side. Bodies downfield, but now they're being joined by Thunderbird defenders, and an unbelievable grab from Marty Gallant. Shortest man downfield. Climbs the ladder, and a quick dish to Jamison.
Gallant getting up large. We saw Rivera plays for the University of Buffalo. Gallant has played for Ottawa, so those two have matched up in the Metro East region. Gallant showing why he was on the Team Canada World Games team, getting up large. Plays a lot bigger than he looks at him, and certainly you see that right there as you aptly described it, climbing the ladder.
Used to seeing the speed on display, but now we get to see the aerial abilities. Number 33, Marty Gallant, team leader in goals this season. Benvenista.
We're going to run that flag after every goal.
Back underway is the play. What do the Thunderbirds have in store? 7 minutes to work. Looking deep for Toll. Toll's there, but he's got nobody with him. He'll float it for Ward. It'll catch some air, and so will number 28, Ryan Ward. Comes up with the grab. You see things start to open up a little bit for the Thunderbirds. They've got 2 now in this fourth quarter. Both coming in just the last few minutes of play.
Toll in his 10th year in the league, another University of Pittsburgh product of also the Pittsburgh youth scene. So someone who's grown up kind of like Reed Duncan as well, grown up in the area, played through youth, played there in college, and now bringing the talents over to the Thunderbirds. And he's someone that's seen it all in this league, and certainly going to impart some wisdom to some of the younger players on this group after they had a couple roster losses and have revamped with a bit of a younger squad.
The hands of Nam Ho for Ryan Polas. Rush take back over. Jivaraja.
They have him back out on O right now.
Finds his way to keep the disc in bounds, but then can't connect with Polas. Selic, far side for Stevenson. Stevenson looking back at the end zone. Zaccardi's there with 2 hands for safety. The Thunderbirds able to find a bit of rhythm here in the middle of the fourth quarter. 3 goals now for them in the frame. Starting to look a little more lively after that break.
First of the game for Pittsburgh. They break the drought. Zaccardi's coming on here in the fourth quarter, and looks like he might be back out on the field. We see the D-line group jogging out for Toronto there, as Repperman set to pull for this Pittsburgh side.
Zaccardi, his second marker of the day. Pittsburgh tally up to 9. Once again, we see some more shuffling from the rush sideline. Kamire and Robinson out. An O-line possession. Turner. Far side for Robinson, and now Kamire.
Like you said, I don't suspect Hoffenkamp will play the rest of this game for Pittsburgh.
He's logged a lot of minutes. A lot of points played for Pittsburgh throughout this season. And they'll need him tomorrow in what is a game that has become even more crucial after today's result. In that Central Division playoff picture. Shad looking for Zwang. Zwang. His jump takes him just outside of the end zone. Shad now looking again, second time's the charm. It's Eric Zwang stuffing the stat sheet as yet another trip to the end zone. Eric Zwang says, listen, everybody knows I can get blocks, but did you know that I can score some goals too? 5 on the day for Zwang.
And he'll lead the team right now. He's played 20 D points of 21 points played. And his 4 goals will lead the squad. His 3 blocks tie him with Harry Norris and the one who just threw the assist, Nathan Sheck. And you talk about mixed lines. Now Jeevaraja's pulling here. He played a couple low points, and now they're just emptying out the kitchen, so to speak, just putting all different ingredients and seeing what sticks, trying to make a meal out here.
Jeevaraja airs it out deep into the end zone. Let's see if the Pittsburgh side can continue some of the success that they found in the middle of this fourth quarter.
Swing from Shad, check the time, 6:24.
And this is their offensive line along with Nam Ho. So a few offensive players, or most offensive players on the field for Toronto. That's why Jeevaraja's out there.
Murray looking for Duncan. Is there enough airtime? It'll drop harmlessly after the dive from Reed Duncan. Under 5 to go in the fourth.
What I like to see is Duncan didn't give up on the play. They're trailing, but he's still giving it his all.
One man who gives his all on every point is Marty Gallant with the speed on display, and he finds Air Jeevaraja.
Air Jeevaraja did not have to jump for that one. That was a nice pass onto the platter right there. He just had to keep his feet on the ground, getting that one from Marty Gallant. This is for the young players in the crowd. When a huck goes up, you see him now on the screen. If you're trailing the play, you need to get yourself to the end zone because they're not going to be in just yet, and you'll add yourself to the stat sheet as well.
Wide open. Number 23, Ilavan Jeevaraja.
And this is his league debut right now, folks, so get used to that name, number 23.
And you wouldn't know it given the production that he's had today. Already a highlight. Real goal in the first half. 2 goals, 2 assists on the day, and a block to go with it. A stellar showing in his league debut. 4 minutes, 37 seconds to go, as we will get just a brief timeout. We've called by the Pittsburgh sideline.
Your rush is going on the road for a bit, but don't worry, you can catch every game on the internet.
Referees coming into discussion here. We haven't seen Podner as well. He's kind of taking some time off, perhaps resting him a bit for that West Coast road trip, which I assume he's going to be at, considering it's in his neck of the woods.
Of course, this timeout brought to you by Victory.com. Sprint faster, cut sharper, and recover smarter. Victory insoles and recovery footwear are the ultimate upgrade on and off the field. Learn more about Victory technology and get your pair at VKTRY.com. Victory.com. Following that timeout, the rush defending on the left side of the field, at least from our point of view, will be Max Ayad with the pull. Pittsburgh on the reception, going from the right side of your screen to the left.
Goal, his second of the game, server number 23, Ilavan Jeevaraja. Assist number 33, Marty Gallant.
Rivera, and now Marshall.
From Gallant at 7:23.
Deflection from Chow, but it stays with Pittsburgh. Now Watt to salvage some form of homecoming here, back in Canada, playing the Toronto Rush in Toronto for the first time.
Rivera getting a shot on O-line here for Pittsburgh, so they really mix and matching right now personnel-wise.
Watt inside for Park, and now it's deflected away. It'll be Ayad. Got Chow on a run, but finds Ho. Ho inside for Nishizaki.
Remember, Nishizaki caught that Callahan earlier. That brought the crowd to the feet right there. Nam Ho throwing the assist, and we've talked about this before, but everyone's favorite teammate, is that true?
It is
Number
true.
28?
I was at media day and heard it from just about every single guy I asked.
And it's not like a bit, right? Like, that's like, they were doing that out of the kindness of their heart.
There was, every guy said a couple of players, but the one through line was Nam Ho's name was getting thrown into every single one. I might list off 2 or 3 teammates, but he was by far the most common answer. Ho with the assist, lends a helping hand to Noah Nishizaki. A little easier this time than the Callahan he had earlier on in the day. Benvenista, with 3.5 to go, launches this one deep into the end zone. Dillard.
Assist number 28, Nam Ho. Time goal, 8 minutes, 23 seconds.
Dillard now looking deep. He's got Duncan. Zwang closing in. It'll hang in the air for a little bit. A play's going to have to be made, and who else but Eric Zwang, but he'll get called for the contact. Nearly another block added to the stat sheet for the team leader and nearly league leader, Eric Ricky Zwang, called back for some contact. And quick dish and a nice grab from Lucas Storm, number 31. One hand for some style points as Pittsburgh continues to keep rolling here in this fourth quarter. Most goals they've had in the quarter has been the fourth, and so as they gear up for the Chicago Union tomorrow at home, 4 scores in this fourth quarter, trailing just 1 on the pace of the Rush. So finishing with their strongest quarter, testing out some things lineup-wise, are both teams. Maybe there is something that follows through until tomorrow's action.
He's been stepping into the O-line role since he joined the team last year. The Carnegie Mellon player, 11 assists, 11 goals, double-double last season, and has 3 right now to his name, and is a key downfield threat for Pittsburgh. So we'll see if that strings him along to a good day tomorrow against Chicago.
Assist by number 65.
Standard O-line back out here for Toronto.
9 minutes, 17 seconds.
Gallant, deep ball. Jivaraja stays on his feet but can't reel it in. Marty Gallant looking deep for Ilavan Jivaraja.
Heard some USA chants running from the crowd, so perhaps some Pittsburgh Thunderbird fans making their attendance. I know some Buffalo fans out here as well.
Repperman's going to have to make a play, and nearly did, surrounded by Rush defenders. Jamison connects with Gallant, moving upfield, splits the double, and they just slowly, or quickly rather, but short yardage at a time, advance down, and it's ultimately Kelsey Mullaney whose number is called in the end zone.
Good to see Mullaney back. He's had some time off, so good to see him back in action here. With 1:39 left, Toronto up by a very large scoreline as we take a look at some of the upcoming games for this Toronto side, and we've already mentioned the West Coast road trip. They also have the Montreal game. Currently all those teams with below 500 records, they're hoping to go 3 for 3 there on that road trip. Then you come back and take on the New York Empire July 12th. That's a big game considering where New York is in the standings. So circle that one as a home game to watch as well. But that's what's on the slate right now for this Toronto side coming up.
Every game with a playoff feel, as this was the first game for the Rush in what would be called the second half of the season. Came in 3-3, will improve to 4-3 as they pass the halfway mark of the UFA season.
First goal scored by number 32, Kelsey Mullaney. Assist number 33, Marty Gallant. Time to go,
Toll.
10 minutes, 21 seconds.
One hand.
Mullaney
Brings it in now. He looks up for Dillard. Dillard immediately makes a motion to the referee. He's under some duress. Immediately makes the call. Dives out for that throw.
What we're seeing is the effort. Apologies for cutting you off there, Adam, but We're seeing the effort of Duncan trying to make a layout attempt earlier, going that same direction on your screen, left to right, and Dillard doing the same thing. So you like to see the fight in this Pittsburgh team right now.
And that was something that was mentioned in our pre-match meeting with the Pittsburgh coaching staff, that given the wide openness of the Central Division, the effort has been there all season despite the record, and maybe there were times during today's game where it was lacking, where the body language at least didn't tell the whole story. As a quick miscue, Harry Norris looking for Max Ayad, but in this fourth quarter, Pittsburgh certainly has come alive as they look again to the end zone, and this time with the Alexander Kurages, what has been the most prolific quarter of play for the Thunderbirds side. 5 goals in the frame. Rush with 6. So nearly keeping pace are the visitors in this fourth quarter.
Another Carnegie Mellon player here. So that they draw from Pittsburgh. That's Pitt, for the University of Pittsburgh, as well as Carnegie Mellon and some colleges around it. So they do have a bunch of pipelines around that feeds into this team. So one of the things they talked about was getting the best players in Pittsburgh to buy in and play for the Thunderbirds team, because they got a lot of club teams out here trying to get all those players to buy in and play here for the Thunderbird side.
Time to go, 11 minutes, 31 seconds. Burgess through Toll at 11:31.
Is getting some O-line minutes right now. He's number 28 for Toronto.
Looking to let it fly, but opts to connect this time. Nam Ho, and Mulaney is going to send Galan. Once again, just a rare miscue from the rush today. As we finally see the end of what has been an offensive explosion from the host Toronto Rush. 33-11 is our final score. The Rush will improve to 4-3 and look to better their chances in a very competitive Eastern Division.
Pittsburgh, a decision that did not go your way, and certainly spotting 5 goals to start, including 4 straight breaks, is not going to help the cause. But they still have their playoff lives to play for. Tomorrow they have the Union, like we mentioned. They got more Central Division opponents on the horizon. And so for them, they got something to look forward to. But for Toronto, what they got to be excited about is the play of Ricky Zwang all over the stat sheet in this one and making plays up and down the field. 5 goals, 1 assist, and 3 blocks. And just been a big energy setter and tone setter for this team. Someone who constantly runs hard and makes the plays at the right time. And someone that's really injected life into this Toronto team, especially on the D side.
Absolutely, and even when it's not a block, the speed and the frame as well, able to contend with some of the bigger bodies in this league, is showing exactly why he's one of the best defensive players in the UFA. But showed the offensive skills tonight. 5 goals on the day lead the Rush as they put up 33 on the day.
He's got his signature celly now, too. It looks like he's ripping off the shirt or something in his celly. But Ricky Zwang, he's hyped up right now. So we're going to go into High Five Alley here as we take a look at Pittsburgh. They're just sitting on the Toronto crest here at center field, mulling over what happened. You see Zaccardi talking instead of one of the coaches right now. So you'd like to see a player and leader step up like that after a loss the way they just suffered.
Once again, it was a much better fourth quarter that we had seen from Pittsburgh, but at the end of the day, 33-11 is our final score as we take a look at the full-time stats.
1 break for Pittsburgh. They got in the fourth quarter, so you like to see that they're able to generate something, a little bit of buzz at the end here. But 22 breaks is a wild stat, and for them to achieve that here today, Toronto's got to be very proud of their effort here as they cruise to a 33-11 victory.
73% D-line conversion rate for the Toronto Rush. It was sitting at 39.74, just shy of 40%. Good for 3rd last in the league coming into today. Certainly flipped the script for today's action. As we take a look at some at some footage from today's match. And for myself, Adam Hunt, and my broadcast partner, Theo Wan, and all of you watching on WatchUFA.tv and on YouTube with CBC Sports, we thank you so much for joining us. And we'll see you next time in UFA action. Rush 33, Thunderbirds 11, your final score. Sorry, was I supposed to?
Boston has its glory.
Jeff Babbitt with the size, the speed, the read.
Did he throw it the full 80 yards to the field?
You cannot kill this Minnesota.
Are you believing what you're seeing?
My hands are on my head up here in the booth.
Was there any doubt? Was there any doubt?